T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Drunk Turkey Show. I'm Daniel, alongside with me, as always, on Wednesday nights. Big Blue, how you doing, my man?
What's going on, everybody? I'm doing good.
That's great, man. You working tonight?
Yeah, I have to work tonight, but today's my last night, and I'm off for 2 nights.
Okay. So tomorrow we might be doing a little special live and get a little drinking going on. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that can happen.
All right, we'll get some UFO videos or something like that. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss that. We're going to do some unexpected things. So, but with all that to the side, we have a case that's been getting a little bit of attention. It's an unsolved homicide out of the Maryland area. It's Rachel Morn, mother of 5, was a missing mom who was I'll put a better picture up there. There you go. Missing mother of 5, hiker. Body was found day after she went reported missing. Brutally. From all indications, her life was taken very brutally, and the person who has committed this crime is still on the loose. And so we're going to look into this case. We're going to look into what the facts are and break down where what we think and where we think maybe law enforcement are in this case. Big Blue, I know I sent you a couple of articles on this case. Did you what are your first initial thoughts on Miss Morin's disappearance and then unfortunately untimely passing?
Yeah, man, it's a very sad story. I myself love to go hiking. I love going down some trails, but it gets sketchy out there. There's times that I do run into homeless people, and I deal with homeless people a lot, and they're not the safest people to be around because they're not mentally there sometimes. I'm not saying that's what happened, but who knows what happened. But trails are dangerous, man. That's why they always say get a trail buddy, carry your phone with you, even carry a knife or a stick, because you never know if a person's gonna come out, or a bobcat, mountain lion, or a bear, depending on where you're at. But you always have to be careful out there.
Right, 100%, man. And so, apparently, on the day of her disappearance, Rachel was at a Bronze Studio on Red Pump Road in Bel Air for a spray tan at 2 p.m. Sources close to the salon said to the Post that all employees there knew her, and the late mother had revealed to the staff that she was on multiple dating sites prior to her passing. However, the same week she had gone public with her romance with her boyfriend, Richard Tobin, who was one of the last people to see her alive. Now, Richard Tobin's been getting a lot of attention, and we're going to go into detail a little bit about him and why he's getting so much attention. I'm not sure if he's involved yet or not. I tend to think that when you have a situation like this, where it's an ex or a current spouse or boyfriend or whatever the case may be, typically those type of crimes happen in the heat of the moment. They're not very well planned out, and a lot of evidence would be left behind. And usually if once the body is found, it's not very long after that an arrest would be made. I mean, if we can look at the with Adam Fravel, I think I can pronounce his name. And in his case, the same situation with his the mother of his children. You know, while she was missing, he didn't get any charges or anything, and then boom, you know, once they found her remains, he was in custody. Challenge Daily member for 5 months. Thank you, and says, "I love you guys. We love you too. Thank you so much for your support."
Yeah, thank you very much.
So, Richard Tobin has a history, apparently, of assaults, drug abuse. He's been a fugitive in the past, so he had warrants out for his arrest at certain points. As recent as up to 2020 was his last run-in with law. And he claims that he has turned his life around. He is no longer, involved in those type of issues, and is not involved at all in this in the disappearance and homicide of Rachel. He has given up his DNA and has, from my understanding, been very cooperative. What are your thoughts, Big Blue, on Richard?
On him being the suspect?
Yeah.
I don't have enough information yet to rule him out. I mean, it seemed like he seems legit that he reported her. He was the one that reported her missing. So, if you want to keep the heat off of you, that's one thing to do. And the other thing was, that's the right thing to do when somebody's missing, is to report it missing. But I wonder if he had like tracked my phone, or but I don't know. They were just started dating, so they probably don't have that stuff. Some people do that. Now the thing is, the police are going to be able to find out, probably if they have him as a suspect, be able to go through his records and see where he was at what time and what. They're going to go for his alibi and see where he's at.
Right. Well, so apparently, according to this, and let me just put up the maps real quick. It'll be easier to show. So, at 2 p.m., she's at the Bronze at the Bronze Studio, right? Getting her tan on. And then she goes to the Planet Fitness gym, right across here, the street, pretty close to where the studio is. And she goes here with Richard, right? And one thing that I noticed in this comment, or in this in this article here, is that it was in a now deleted Facebook comment. So Richard deleted this Facebook comment. He, for whatever reason, maybe, I don't know, it looks a little suspicious to me to delete comments, but in a now deleted Facebook comment, they went to the gym together. Apparently she was there, and he ended up dropping her off at her home at 4:50. Right. She went on a hiking trail, and she was spotted on the trail sometime between the hours of 6 and 7:30. Right. And so she was missing. The boyfriend is who reported her missing, from my understanding. And that happened around 11 o'clock that day that she was missing. He was out there on the trail, basically saying that he had been out there since 7 looking for her. It wasn't a spray tan, from my understanding. I think it was one of those tanning beds. I think it was a tanning bed. All right, so
that's crazy, because most Planet, I don't get that, because most Planet Fitnesses, I mean, I know the ones in San Antonio, I think if you pay for the higher membership, they have a tanning bed.
Well, I know that this, because I was watching Grizzly True Crime, shout out to her, and I know the article says that it was a daily spray tan appointment, but I think it was put in there. I think somebody actually called them, and it was actually a tanning bed.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying maybe she did have a spray tan appointment as well, but I don't know, man. I've never needed a tan. So how often would you need a spray tan? I don't think you need one daily.
I don't think it's daily. I think I don't know. I get naturally tanned in the sun, but I think it's once a week for people who need tans.
What about the bed? Can you do that every day?
I think you can, but it's not good for your skin. That's a good way to get skin cancer.
So I mean, it makes me question, right? Like, is the person who's about the maybe about the accuracy of the information of the person who's saying this?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because if they're saying that this person gets a daily spray tan, this and that, it sounds like you have the information might have. How can I put this? If she didn't have a daily spray tanning, she's already exaggerating about how, or I'm assuming it's a she, that is the source here. But if you have somebody saying that it's a daily spray tan, and it's not even a spray tan, and it's a bed, and it's not even daily, then you're already having inaccuracies based on just how often this person goes there. So that makes me question the remaining portion of whatever it is they have to say. Is it possible that the other information there is going to be exaggerated as well? You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I mean, of course they'll have records, and I'm pretty sure they have cameras showing people going in and out. So I don't I don't know how often you would get it, but I think the
Right.
beds.
It's not about how whether or not she did that every day or not. It's whether or not the person that is speaking this information is speaking accurately, or is under pressure or nerves of speaking to media, saying things that aren't accurate.
Yeah.
And if this is inaccurate, how much of the rest of the story is inaccurate? You get what I'm saying? So, well, let's continue this. She said she was very warm, and above all, she loved her children. Margaret Waltz, 69. The post about the 37 Maryland mother found with her life brutally taken on August 6th on the Ma and Pa hiking trail in Bel Air. She raised them very well. She had a flexible work schedule that allowed her to make sure her kids were always taken care of. We were like their grandparents and to those kids, and we trusted her implicity. Man, I probably said that wrong. Morin, who owned her own cleaning business, worked for Waltz and her husband for 8 years, keeping their home tidy. Waltz said the mom was easygoing and almost always in a good mood. Said Waltz, who admitted she and her husband had noticed that Morin seemed distracted the week before her life was taken. Now, she had recently got into a relationship with Richard Tobin. I would assume that that's probably what the distraction is, and not in a bad way. I'm sure people get distracted when they're new in a relationship. Wouldn't you agree to that, Big Boo?
Yeah. You want to try to create a. Yeah, my dog's bark.
No, you're fine, my man. And so, for me, that's all that means. I don't think that it's anything nefarious at this point. Is it possible that it's nefarious, that she was distracted because of a toxic relationship, or maybe somebody from her past not being too thrilled with her? Now, when it comes to who may have taken her life, there's a couple of things that you can kind of deduce, right? It's either going to be the current boyfriend, an ex-boyfriend, right? Apparently she had 5 children, three different fathers. Is one of them jealous of the new boyfriend, right?
Yeah, it's a possibility.
You also have she was on dating apps. Was there somebody who become infatuated with her over the internet, maybe talked to her for a little bit? Is it possible that she was in contact through messages? Now, I don't know if any of you guys have ever been on dating websites or dating apps, but from my understanding, when a woman gets on a dating app, a lot of men fill that inbox pretty quickly, and so um, it is what it is. Is it possible that somebody, found her profile, became infatuated with her, maybe found her online, found her routine, and then the next possibility is, could it have been like, just a random person, crime of opportunity, who was trolling trolling the park, looking for a victim, and just so happened to found Rachel. Now, um, can you think of another person, Big Blue, or another scenario?
I would say maybe just like another crime opportunity, like Richard Allen kind of case.
Gotcha.
That's what came up to my mind.
Well, we don't know yet that Richard Allen was a crime of opportunity. I still am very suspicious about how he got there and how he knew to be there at that right time. That could have been planned. And see, that's what I mean. Like, could it also have been like she was on the dating apps? She just got in a relationship with this guy. I don't know. Could somebody else have messaged her and fallen for her, and she just kind of turned that person away? We'll see. We'll see. I would think, though, if it were, do you think that the police would be on to that scenario by this point? I would assume that they would have her phone information, warrants. Let's see. This happened on her body was found on the 6th.
It's only been like 10 days, so it's still early.
It's still early, but do you think that they would have access to her messages and things of that nature? I wonder, what I'm saying by this point?
Well, I would say they would have to get it subpoenaed and try to get it approved by a judge. So I think it might be in the right amount of days to be able to start looking at that. It's hard to tell, because remember that case that we were looking at, the gentleman that got hit by a car, passed away. It took the mom for a while to subpoena his phone and finally get the records to be able to see who he was contacting. It took like a year. So hopefully, because of the way she was found, they might be able to get those subpoenas quicker and try to track down any leads from there.
Right. But I'm thinking that once they do have that, right? Yeah. Like, once they have that, I would assume that they would be able to pinpoint somebody pretty easily. And what do you call it? And if he hasn't been located at this point, it's not so much that maybe perhaps they don't know who he is, as they haven't found this person yet. I think that's a possibility, that they are aware of, or they have a suspect. But then again, I think they're asking for the assistance of the public, which tells me that they don't have a suspect. It's kind of like in the Idaho case. In the Idaho case, a lot of folks were looking at Jack DeCore and Jack Showalter and a lot of these guys that were close to the victims. And the longer that case went, the less comfortable or the less confident I felt that the actual suspect was somebody that the police had been in contact with and or was that close to the victims. I felt that it was somebody further away from their inner circle. And in this case, kind of the same thing. The longer it goes, the more I feel that this is probably somebody not so close in our inner circle, unless they haven't found that person. Then again, like I said, if they're asking for, help from the public, I think they don't have a suspect yet. What do you think, Big Blue?
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to get as much information as they can. I saw the report where they were asking for the public to turn any videos or photos they took that day there at the trail to see if there's anybody they can recognize if she was there in any of the photos.
It's not even just her that
Oh
they might
yeah,
be looking for in the photos.
yeah, like,
If they see him in the background,
yeah. Or
you know what I'm
they
saying?
see a certain car in the parking lot, and they're like, okay, this car was there, so maybe.
Yeah, 100%. So she was reported missing by Tobin shortly before midnight. I think it was about 11 o'clock. Tobin, whose lengthy rap sheet includes second degree assault, violating restraining orders, and resisting arrest, on Monday denied involved in Morin's death. On Facebook, Tobin insisted he would never do anything. Though the Harford County Sheriff's Department has not named any suspects in her death, they have confirmed that Morin was the victim of foul play. Tobin was reportedly among those questioned in the case. Police told reporters to ignore an account given by a local man, Michael. We actually have a video from him that we're going to play. Although I understand that police are asking uh, everybody to ignore it. I want to hear what he has to say. Apparently, he is the stepfather to the person that found or discovered Miss Morin's body. But he did give a gory description as to having discovered the body in a tunnel on the trail, saying he had not found the body nor had seen it. It was, in fact, apparently his stepdaughter and her male friend. All right, so let's look at some maps real quick, and then I'm going to look at a couple of videos. All right, so here is where the start of the Ma and Pa trail is.
I think she was missing a total of just like 1 day, less than 24 hours.
Yeah,
Somebody asked.
But it's crazy, and we'll go into a little bit more detail as far as the area, because we actually have a video from JLR. He's doing some great work down there. And he actually walked back there and shows where possibly the body was found. But this is the area. I would assume that this picture here was taken in States 2023. I don't know how true that is, but because I guess it could have been taken last month. It looks like it's in the summertime, which would have been now. Right, but very thick brush. And so you can kind of see the trail through the trees.
Yeah, right through a green belt.
All right. But here's the crazy thing, man. It gets really close, like, to these houses. All right. Like, you see these houses right here, Heavenly Waters. That's where the trail is. And here's where the body was found. And if we were to measure this up, let's put this in yards. And the body was found around right here. You're looking at less than a football field, about a football field away to this area where all these houses are.
Yeah.
That's not that far. Could that have been a gunshot wound? Eric Schultz comes in with a $2 super chat. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
if it was, go ahead, Blue.
I said the deets haven't been released yet.
They haven't, but there's been a lot of information that has been released to deduce that it's fairly accurate. That she was found in one of these tunnels. We'll get into it more, but it doesn't sound like it was a gunshot. It sounds more like if what Michael is saying that his daughter had seen, or stepdaughter had seen, it sounds like maybe perhaps there was a rock involved. Blas being a member for 6 months. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, it sounded pretty gruesome, and she was found completely nude, right? So who knows where it actually happened, because she was kind of drug into a culvert, right? It was like a tunnel drainage. So she was dragged in there to hide her body. So we don't know exactly where the crime scene is, and then they just put her there to hide her away from the view of the people that are walking the trails.
Right. And we're gonna get into like I guess we can get into it. So yeah, you're absolutely right. The Michael's let's pull this up. This guy right here. So this guy right here, he had his stepdaughter is the person who ended up discovering Rachel's body. Now, what they had indicated was that you're absolutely right, Blue, that she didn't have any clothes, and that she sustained severe injury to her face, and that there was a rock that was covered in a red substance that you would expect to have been blood, and then there was a pool of blood that had gone down because she saw what happened, and she walked away for about, she stated, a few yards and sat down, and then didn't realize that she had sat down in a pool of blood from that area. And so thank you, Sonia D. Appreciate you. So let's,
Thank you.
this is from Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates, JLR. He's doing great work, boots on the ground. Let's listen to it.
All right, Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates, and I am here with Michael and Marguerite. Now, following the Rachel Morin case, Rachel Morin, Bel Air, Maryland, was found murdered along the Monpaw Trail. Michael has been in the news, and I appreciate you inviting me out to your home, both of you guys, and I appreciate that, and kind of want to set the record straight and talk. You were in the news, and the media has put out things that aren't true.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
When they even showed up in my driveway and come down into my driveway when I had the no trespassing signs, they caught me when I just woke up, and they weren't supposed to use certain things on the record.
So they weren't supposed to use certain things on the record.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Sounds very familiar.
No, I understand that, but here's the thing. Some of the things that he said was that he had visions of tunnels, and he told them about going to a tunnel, and his daughter and her friend, it took them only, I believe, like half an hour or an hour to find the body, I'm sorry, single. Yeah. So, that part, he said that wasn't supposed to come out there, but I don't understand what does having a, somebody come and ask you a question first thing in the morning have to do with the accuracy of what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I ask you a question at 9 a.m. and you're telling me the truth, it's going to be the same answer at 9 that would be at 5, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would say. But here, you catch me on a sleepy day, I might say one thing, and then a couple hours later, I'll be like, man, what did I tell you earlier? Because I was half asleep.
Yeah. You do that on the podcast too, Blue. And
that's what I'm saying. So you might be right. You might be right, because I do that. Like if I'm running like today, I'm running like on 3 hours, 4 hours of sleep, and I might not even remember what I said by the time I wake up tomorrow. I'll be like, dang, what did I say last night?
Oh yeah, we've seen those nights, but we've seen them.
And that's without alcohol.
So do you? All right. Here's the other thing. Apparently, his daughter is friends, or is maybe not friends. Maybe that's the wrong word. His daughter knew the victim, and the male that she was with is somehow also familiar with Richard Tobin, the victim's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Does that strike you at all odd, or is that just, hey, it's a small town?
See, it strikes me odd that at first, when he's saying the story, it's just that she said that she was just gonna go for a hike, but she heard somebody went missing there.
Right.
And it was a female went missing by herself, so that's why they tagged along with her. So that's a little odd, because I would have been like, hey Dad, we want to go for a walk. Something happened over here. or let's go try a different trail. So it sounds a little weird how they had to go to that trail, but then they ended up wanting to help because they knew the person. So
Right. I mean, it could be a small thing, and you know, there are times because police were in that area, and a lot of people are saying, "Hey, police weren't there." I mean, police were there. They didn't find the bodies. They didn't find this mess. They didn't find those things.
and he's
Right.
actually not a scoutmaster, guys. He mentioned in the story that he's part Native American. So those are the patches, I guess, from his tribe, and so he said, they were just trying to do the right thing, is help each other out and go look for this missing person.
Right.
So Tony, but he's a scoutmaster. I think this is Native American.
Well, I think he did say
tribal.
he was some sort of scout, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he did say he was that he could track. He was a master tracker.
Yeah, I mean that's a good skill to have, man.
No, yeah, for sure. Let's continue.
It was supposed to be on the record that weren't. They were filming the whole time, and they just ran with everything.
Who were they? Who they came?
Fox 45 WBFF.
So Fox 45 comes to your house, and they come and introduce themselves and say, "We want to talk about the." How did they know to come here?
They got my address from the internet somehow. That's what scares me about this, because all these people from social media are looking at me like I'm, suspect or something. I don't want backlash from this coming to my house. And the main thing with me doing all those interviews, I was trying to protect my daughter. Okay, because I didn't want her face plastered all over news media.
She was a mess.
How is your daughter Cecilia?
She is a mess. She's going to need counseling for.
And her friend, he's a mess. Because he saw more than she did.
So let's just remind the people, for people who are just jumping aboard now. You and Cecilia. Yes, anyone else?
There's a third party that's a friend of hers. I'd rather not say his name just to protect him. But we got a call from her daughter that morning.
And what morning was that? The
August
6th. Sunday.
The day we went out there. And she says, "Mom, I'm getting ready to go for a walk down Mount Pot Trail."
But I just saw on the media that somebody was missing. And on Mount Pot Trail, it's a friend of her boyfriend's, I don't know, went to school. Her boyfriend went to school with this guy. And Richard Tobin.
Yeah.
And she.
So that's where the connection is, that her friend went to school with the boyfriend, right? So that's where we hear that from.
He goes, "I was going to go out there. Oh my God, Mom, I'm not going to go anywhere." And then she called back about 10 minutes later. She goes, "Me and my friend are going to go down there and go search." And Johnny had said, "Well, hold on, I'm going down. I'm going to keep an eye on everything." And next thing you know, about an hour and a half later, I get the phone call. "Mom, I found her. And
yeah, that's him. Somebody that's JLR. Yeah, that's him. He's already there.
Yeah, he's I want to hear that again real quick. How long did she say it was?
Johnny had said, "Well, hold on, I'm going down. I'm going to keep an eye on everything." And next thing you know, about an hour and a half later, I get the phone call. "Mom, I found."
So an hour and a half. It wasn't a half an hour. It was an hour and a half. She gets there. An hour and a half later, they find the remains.
I found her, and she was devastated. And then it just turned into a shit show.
So she was just, I heard reports that she was hyperventilating.
Yeah.
On the dispatch call, they had to tell her to sit down.
Mm-hmm. I listened to that dispatch, call, and her name was
hyperventilating. She almost passed out from being so overwhelmed of being a young lady with the same description, and next thing you know, she's looking at another young lady around her age, sitting on a trail that she was getting ready to go walk on by herself before she saw that missing kids.
So she was just down there, and then you went down there.
Yep. Because when I said I was going down there, she looks right at me and says, "Keep my daughter safe."
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a killer on the loose.
Yeah, we don't know who it is.
We don't know who it is. And you know what? I mean, I'm conflicted with this whole thing because I feel like the heart's not really there in the investigation. I'm not going to point fingers at any kind of law enforcement agencies or anything like that, but I just feel like the spirit and the heart are not there to find out what really happened.
A lot of finger pointing.
I'm not sure how or why or he thinks that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that the heart ain't there to find out what they look, find the person. I didn't like that statement.
Yeah, I mean, I think the part where he was mentioning, because when you watch the whole thing, he was saying that about how they had the grid search in the wrong area. That's why weren't they weren't close to the. It took them a few minutes to get to them when they finally called the dispatch to get them over there to the right spot.
You know what the problem is, Blue? The problem is that when you have because this isn't a non-common issue, right? There's been many searches that have gone on, whether it's this case here, Vanessa Guillen, where law enforcement goes out to go find a person, they don't find the remains, and then somebody else does. A worker, a passerby, a jogger. Brian Laundrie, his father and his family went out there. The problem is when you have these kind of cases like that, you have law enforcement agencies and officers coming from all over the place setting this up. They're not from the area. They don't know the area.
Yeah.
And you have the leaders of the groups are people not from the area. You have FBI, from 3-4 hours away, an FBI agent who's in charge of this, that network or that area or that district coming in and directing the grid and the people. It's not so much about heart as it is ignorance. And I don't mean to sound that to be ugly, but I'm not saying they're stupid. That's not what ignorant means. It's just that they don't, they're unaware. They're not from the area.
Yeah, I mean, that happens. I'm pretty sure I've seen when they do the grid searches here for people, they start in an area and they clear it, and they move over, they clear it, so they probably weren't back in that area yet. It takes time. So, and then it wasn't long enough for them to get cadaver dogs yet. So,
right. Yeah. Let's continue this. I'm not going to watch the full half hour of it because it kind of goes off and not really on the investigation, but we'll watch another few minutes of it, see if anything touches the actual investigation versus, how they feel about the case or what they think. Because at the end of the day, I mean, that's how speculation starts. You ask somebody what they think and what they've heard, and just because they live in the area, that gets turned into some sort of fact, right? Just because it's from somebody in the area. And it's not, it's what they thought, and their words are taken out of context. And I don't want to add to that. So, but we'll continue until we get to that point.
Yeah.
And accusing.
Right.
So when you say finger pointing, you spoke to the media, and I noticed the interviews out there. There was a lot of broken clips and pieced together and spliced together.
They edited everything and they spliced everything together to fit their needs.
Because they put out as if you found the body, but I didn't hear anything. I personally listened to all those interviews, and I didn't hear anything.
From the start, I said I never found that body.
And they didn't play that.
No. And every clip was the father that found the murdered woman. His descriptions.
Yeah.
No.
So why do you think they did that?
Because with ratings, it makes money. With money, that's what moves America. It's just, I feel like they were just trying to get a story to make money off her tragedy, her pain, her suffering.
So, and then, I saw some media follow up and saying, well, we spoke to the sheriff and he's saying that you didn't find the body. And then that's when I personally saw a bunch, and you said it earlier, finger pointing and stuff. And then everyone started, focusing on you as if you did something wrong.
Yeah. That I can see the news media clipping out the fact that he didn't actually find the body, and just so that they can get the headline that they're speaking to somebody that did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess that producer must have gone to the same school the producer from Dateline went. They must have gone to some school in Houston where they showed them how to chop and screw everything. So
yeah, I don't like that. And then the sad thing is that, if they're doing that in this case, that tells you what they're probably doing in other cases. And then It makes you wonder how accurate the information you get from mainstream media can be. I don't know. Fake news is coming back, I guess.
Yeah.
Or you
Right.
lied,
And
or
now I'm getting backlash on social media for just wanting to go out and help my community, which is ingrained in me because I'm Native American. As a community out on the reservation, we all help each other. Somebody's hungry, we feed them. Somebody needs a place to stay, we give them a place to stay. They need a ride, we give them a ride. You know how it goes.
absolutely.
I will say that this guy seems like a normal dude. Like, I don't think he's involved that anyway. What do you think, Blue?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure he has his phone calls with his daughter tracking that she wanted to, she's the one that called him. So I'm pretty sure he has evidence to, his alibi. And he doesn't seem like he wanted all the attention. His daughter was so distraught. She didn't want to be in the picture. You know what I mean? Which a lot of people wouldn't want to be. So he probably said, we went, and that happens a lot, man. It happens a lot, and that's why we don't want to get into the narrative. I read the other report that they don't want to turn this into like the Kohlberger case that they got thousands of misleading tips because they already started with misleading tips just because of the speculations that are on here.
Right.
So, let's try to stick to the facts.
Right. Yeah, no, I hear you. All right, let's continue.
Did you try contacting these media outlets and say, hey, you got this wrong?
At that point, I contacted WBFF and told them I was giving no more interviews and that
After when you first started seeing stuff on the media, one outlet contacts him, hey, can you give us your daughter's name? And he's like, absolutely not.
my question is, why would they release that dispatch call to the public?
Why do you think?
I don't know.
I haven't been able to find the dispatch call. I don't know if you have. If anybody in live chat has, no, I haven't seen it. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I honestly have not had the chance to look it up yet. But you looked it up and sent me a lot of videos on it, so I'm pretty sure you'd gone farther.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked up a lot of stuff in preparation for this, but we're barely getting into this. This is a case that we're going to be covering extensively as well. And so we're just basically putting our toes in the water, so to speak, in this case. But we want to get through, go through all the minutiae of it as well. Let's see. Yes, please be kind, be respectful.
Yeah.
It's a critical piece of information. I just don't know.
So when your daughter found Rachel, before we were talking off camera, there was no police around there?
No.
Where were they at?
It looked like they were staging at the top of the trailhead. I mean, you had a couple walking through, but there was none in that area. Because something happened with the dispatch call where I think it was, the dispatcher said Maryland 23 instead of Maryland 24.
I heard that.
Yeah.
There was a confusion.
And they swarmed on 23, and it took them maybe 5 minutes to get back to us.
Was that Cecilia told him it was 23? Or
no, she told him it was 24.
But they had for some reason, thought it was 23.
Gave a mile marker, I believe.
She even gave him a mile marker.
Was Rachel was found in the tunnel?
I believe so.
Or by the trail?
No, I believe it was in the tunnel.
And
I believe it was in the tunnel. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was in the tunnel.
Or around the tunnel there. Yeah. There's a creek there.
Right.
I think it's called Whispering Creek or something like that.
Winter's Run.
Winter's Run.
Yep.
Have you ever been down there before?
When I was a kid, before they put that trail in, when it was just a mom and pop railroad, we used to go down there and ride dirt bikes, and we were teenagers, party down there, and we were kids trying to get away from I shot everybody else, so we could kind of like let our hair down, so to speak. But yeah, that trail's been in Harper County forever.
Never seen anything like this or heard of anything, no violence ever on this trail?
I mean, I've heard of people getting in drunk fights on that trail because there's homeless encampments on that trail.
There is?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any.
They are in the middle of the bypass. When you're coming up the bypass toward Route 24 Rocks Road, if you look right in the middle there where the bypass splits, there's that big median, big hill right there. That's usually where they reside, or the old landfill on the right side of the road.
Interesting. I wonder.
So he brings up the point that there is a homeless camp pretty close by. right? Now, that would lead a couple of things, right? Would there be evidence on the body of the victim that the person that attacked her, was a homeless person? I think there'd be some sort of evidence of, um, you know, dirt, skin cells, things of that nature from
Yeah.
the perp, right? That would kind of indicate that the person was extremely, or maybe not extremely dirty, but dirty, right?
Because they did use a rock for a weapon, so it was
Allegedly.
allegedly. So that rock might have their DNA. If you're hitting somebody, you're gripping, and you're losing DNA, and then I don't know if you grip rocks and hit something with it before your fingertips get scratched up. So maybe they cut themselves. Who knows?
Yeah. Hey, we're going to take a quick break real quick, y'all. I got to get some water. In the meantime, we're going to show you and talk to you guys about our little raffle we got going on. This is our little Frenchie Nelson. Nelson was the runt of his litter, and unfortunately, he was diagnosed with IVDD, which resulted in him losing the ability to move his rear legs. Now, we were left with a couple of options, one being put Nelson down, or two, go through a costly surgery, which wasn't guaranteed to work. We gave Nelson that chance, and we went through the surgery, and fortunately, today he can walk, and he's not 100%, but he's getting there. Through rehab and continual rehab, we think he may. Those bills are extensive and continuous. In efforts to lower that financial strain, we've decided to do a raffle. This raffle is going to be of a 4x3 handmade quilt. This quilt was actually made by my mother-in-law, and so high quality. I think you'll love it. It's a rescue themed quilt. So how do you enter? There is a $5 entry to get into the raffle. All entries will be through Cash App, $ Drunk Turkey Show to enter. In the description, make sure you put your shipping address and your name. If you want to put in multiple, you can do so. You can send in, for instance, 25 and also put in the description 5 entries. The raffle will be on August 28th. The winner will be chosen at random by a wheel selector. Don't need to be present on the live. Good luck. Thank you. Thank you, Heather, for putting that up there. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Heather.
Also, guys, we got some new merch that we wanted to talk to you guys about. This is a slap-on koozie. That one's disappearing. I'll show that one. Here's the originator. All right. And this is it's not a mouse. It's a koozie. If you're interested in, go ahead, Blue.
I said I called it a mouse pad when I first saw it.
This is our new logo that we have up in the corner. If you guys haven't noticed, there it is. Boom. And that's the new logo.
And to demonstrate, let me get something real quick.
All right, while Blue does that, I'm going to mute him because it does make a big popping noise. If you're interested in one of these are going to be going for $12 plus shipping. If you're interested, email us, let us know which one you want, and then we'll give you guys information on how to pay for it.
When you put these bad boys in the freezer, they get a little cold, so it's a little hard to hold, right? So you just get this bad boy, slap it on there, and now you got an easy grip for your bottle.
You know it, dude. And it looks nice too.
Look at that. It fits perfectly around any bottle. Water bottles. Because I know there's some people that don't drink. They fit around water bottles, Gatorade bottles, soda pops, whatever y'all drink. It doesn't have to be an alcoholic beverage.
And this week only, it's going to end on Saturday night at 9 p.m. Anybody who purchases one of these will be entered into the raffle for the quilt. So email us if you're interested in it. We'll give you payment and shipping information, and we'll go forward from there. So nothing like slapping a DTS face to a bottle. You know it.
See, I'm drinking water tonight. It's on there. I've used it like 5 times. Paint doesn't rub off. The stitching's not in stitching, so it's good stuff, guys.
These are not on Bonfire. These are going to be our own. We're actually going to probably get away from Bonfire. We think that the pricing's a little bit high, and we're going to do our own stuff. And we have shirts, we have koozies, we got stickers. Oh man, I got us upside down. We have a bunch of stuff coming soon. I like this one a lot. It's one of my favorites. I think I like it better when you can't see us. It's Mikey S comes in saying, $2 in the super chat. If you think Big Blue has nice birthing hips, smash the like button. That is amazing. Thank you so much, Mikey. We appreciate you. All righty. Let's get back into this conversation right here. I gotta unmute it. Almost forgot.
Wonder if any of them made their way down there. How far is it from where Rachel was found?
Probably maybe 3/4 of a mile, maybe a mile. Not far at all.
So
I'm gonna rewind this part a little bit.
Past Splits, there's that big median, big hill right there. That's usually where they reside, or the old landfill on the right side of the road.
interesting. I wonder if any of them made their way down there. How far is it from where Rachel was found?
Probably maybe 3/4 of a mile, maybe a mile. Not far at all.
So
Not far.
20-minute
If
walk.
you're familiar with the area, you can get into the trails
So many different
without
ways.
going in the open.
So many different ways without being surveilled.
Yeah, because the authorities also were saying that they're expanding the search out from that location. Like they say, the Mapa Trail goes to the other communities.
Mapa Trail right here goes, well, it's not a trail, it's still the old railroad bed, but over top of this hill is the old railroad bed.
It was the old underground railroad. It's what the
Part of the
Mile
old
was.
railroad.
This location here, where like this is like about what? How far from?
I'd say about 15, 20 miles from Bel Air.
Yeah.
Maybe not that far.
No, it's about 15, 20 miles
okay.
into town.
So how's your daughter doing?
She's still a mess. Still.
She doesn't
Shooken
want
up.
to be alone.
She used to be an avid woodsman before this happened, and now she don't want no
She
parts of
goes,
the
I don't know
forest.
if I'll ever go back in the woods.
And remind me again, was she friends with Rachel?
Her boyfriend knew her boyfriend from high school.
Okay.
And I think he was coming into the restaurant where he works at.
Right.
He's a cook. And I don't know if she had met her there or not, but she was just saying, yeah, his new girlfriend, I saw it online. She's missing on the trail. So that's how that, and she was never good friends with her. She
And now the Harford County Sheriff is calling out for public assistance for more tips, even though they've gotten over, I think it's 700 false tips,
False tips.
big tips.
Has police come and talk to you guys at all?
Nope.
No. Have they talked to your daughter? Like, wow.
Gotta love the forest.
Yeah.
Twice.
They talked to your daughter twice?
Yeah.
Like, kind of like what did you see? How did you see it?
Right. I guess they're trying to get more information on the scene, and because right after they found her, it stormed really bad for 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the rain was terrible. We had a tornado come through.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So when your daughter found Rachel, like, did she tell you guys like what condition she was in? Like I heard.
Yeah.
She did.
She did.
I mean, not to get too graphic, but like, can you describe a little bit?
She said that it was brutally horrific. We'll just leave it that way.
I'm sorry?
Like she was brutalized, really badly brutalized and disfigured.
Did she have her clothes on her?
I don't believe so.
No, she said she didn't have clothes on.
So sad. And it's going to take your daughter probably a long time to recover. I can't imagine anyone seeing.
I don't think she'll ever recover from this, honestly.
Did your daughter just expect to like find her alive or something? Like, not as like, didn't know what she was getting
I
into?
don't think my daughter or my stepdaughter thought that we would find her. She thought we'd go down there, walk the trail, help out, whatever.
Just feel like you did something.
Right, at least feel like you did something. We thought the Harford County Sheriff was going to find her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Was there other volunteers around there? Just like volunteers, like citizens?
When it first happened, they still had that trail open to the public.
Really? They didn't close it off?
No.
That's what I don't understand.
Interesting.
Why didn't they close the trailhead from trailhead to trailhead?
Now, did they close it once they found her?
Yes.
They did. They closed it.
Yes.
What, from like the 24 bridge?
From where the walk tunnel is
Mhm.
down to the big bend where you come up on that bridge.
Yep.
They had that and that corned off, and they were turning people around. But still, I mean, the search area, if you're ever in search and rescue, you're going to experience like that concentrated area expands out maybe 1.5 miles, because that's the way a search and rescue is done. First you start off with the little hidey holes, hiding spots. Then you start with your grid search. 10, 12 people get side by side and they walk a straight line. And then if that doesn't work, then you bring your dogs in and the cadaver dogs if you don't find anything, because the dog's nose is 100% better than ours.
Yeah. So let's talk about people out there like potential suspects. We have like, what's your take? Like, who do you think could have done this? A local?
I don't feel like this was an opportunistic homicide.
Too personal.
It's too personal.
So Rachel,
it seems like it could be like a disgruntled baby's father.
See, this is where I don't think it's fair, because how would he know? You know what I mean? If he doesn't have intimate details of this woman's life and things of that nature, you know, I would say that maybe perhaps, because I don't think you can tell by, you know, the way the body was, you know, left, that it was a disgruntled father the way he's alluding it to be. You know what I mean, Big Blue?
Yeah. I didn't see that part of the video of JLR's video. Somebody said that he may have found, like, I guess her underwear when he was walking the trails, or when
Well,
he was
I have him walking the trails. We're gonna watch that here pretty soon.
Right.
So yeah, in fact, we'll go to that. This will be it on this. You know, it's very good information, in my opinion. Let's see. You know, let's put this one on first. So what we learned, and this is a trail, but this is just somebody driving through it. I wanted to put this up there real quick.
It says for a different case. Okay, I didn't know. I didn't see this video.
Okay. Well, this isn't JLR. This is the guy on a bike going through the trail, but it's a little bit faster than what JLR does. I'm going to show JLR's video here in a minute. But what I wanted to show you is like you can see how close in proximity to
the road. Yeah,
the road is out there. Like, and you'll see people on the trail here as well. It's very active. And like, look, there's houses there. So it looks like a very nice trail, actually. The apartments that are out there. Let's look at JLRs.
There's parking by the apartments too, right?
Yeah, there is much. So the entrance is right here, and this is the apartments. This is one set of apartments. There's a neighborhood on this side of the trail, and then this is also parking as well. So let's watch this. And this is also JLR. Make sure you go follow him. Let him know that Drunk Turkey Show sent you. Yeah, he's doing good work. I know he gets a lot of flack for stuff that he's done in his past.
And here's that little creek. Here's the creek here.
No. I think he's doing good work now. So just, you know, he does crazy stuff, then we'll take our one way. We'll look at it different at that time, I guess. Water doesn't look like it's flowing very high.
I don't know where up here goes.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's a big stream.
I'm going to show you where Rachel was found right over here.
All right, so one, you see a lot of people here, right? Now, she was at the trail, you know, between 6 and 7, right? It's summertime, still sunlight. You would expect there to be a lot of people on that trail at this time, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. At this time in the day.
Right. I mean, at 6 o'clock in the evening, you know, most people are getting out of work. You know, if they're going to go and, you know, do their evening walks or whatnot, it's probably between 6, 7, and 8. And I would assume that there would be heavy traffic on this trail. You see traffic. I don't know what time of day that JLR is out here, but you see traffic. You see people out there. Oh wow, Jen, that's crazy. I bet you must be stunned. What do you notice about the scenery there, Big Blue?
And like on this one, it is pretty like what do you call it? Where there's thick brush, where it's pretty, it's not too easy to see off the trail for a little bit on this part. It's a little bit more covered, I guess.
Yeah. And the first one that I did with the bike, that wasn't JLR. That was a different video. This one is, and he's walking. I have it sped up, so he's not on the bike, but he's out there.
This is mile marker 2 3/4 on the trail, and look.
Yeah, dude, somebody could easily be hiding back there, just watching. Like if this was a crime of opportunity, somebody could easily be just in the woods there.
Yeah. There's a lady with a baby in a stroller.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable if my wife went out there with our daughter, while there's somebody on the loose still. You know what I'm saying?
I am interested in what goes up that way.
Yeah, I don't know. And speaking of which, apparently she's being a little turd tonight. Rogie, that is.
We'll look on the map and figure that out later. Okay, so here's the tunnels right over here. This is the area where she could have dragged.
I don't think she was dragged. If she would have been dragged, I think there would have been signs on the ground from this area that she was dragged. There's a bunch of leaves and debris on the floor. I think there would be evidence of dragging, right?
Yeah.
So the tunnel area is pretty far back. Why would she go that way, right? What would force her to go that way without screaming or alarming others? Perhaps maybe somebody did have a firearm with them and used it as a
deterrent.
Yeah, or a control device. That's because look at how far he's gonna have to go.
Don't see any surveillance cameras, nothing but cars that you can hear, vehicles. JLR investigates. I'm going to take you right over there to the tunnels where Rachel Morn was found, murdered.
You can see in the distance how far it is right there. That's a pretty good ways away, man.
That is pretty far.
Like, and there doesn't seem to be any sign of dragging. I mean, unless he knocked her out and carried her there, but I think we would have seen some sort of evidence of that.
Somebody said there's a blood trail. I know that close to where they found the body, there was a blood trail where like the gentleman said his stepdaughter sat down and she didn't realize she sat down next to a crime scene. But I didn't see anything. Like they didn't say there's no blood trail off the trail itself.
Yeah, no, there was a blood trail from the body, and yeah, this was the tunnels that she was found in. from there going about 15 feet out. So that leads me to believe that she was in the entrance of the tunnel, that she wasn't very far into the tunnel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. I think JLR goes inside the tunnel too, so it's. See the debris on the ground? I think there would be sign of like kicking or something around this area.
It looks like they had tape here. It's one location. I saw this on my last live.
So let me back that up a little bit more. Yeah, there's a big rock here in the ground. You'd have to walk over. I mean, I find this difficult terrain to be dragging somebody and or carrying somebody through.
It would have to be somebody strong to be able to. She looked like she weighed maybe at least 130
Right.
pounds.
Right.
Maybe 100, but.
Now, is it possible that she ran into somebody that she known? Maybe somebody that they didn't get along with, and they were arguing on the trail. And he said, let's go off the trail so that nobody sees us arguing. And she followed him this way. She's familiar with that person.
It can be. But then, like, the other part was, I mean, I don't know, like, the whole case scenario. Like, did they find her clothes scattered all over the place? Did they find her cell phone? I don't know any of that stuff. So,
Yeah, no, neither do I, man. Neither do I.
somebody put 107 pounds and tiny. But still, you try carrying 107 pounds from that trailhead, I mean, from the trail over those rocks into that covert. I mean,
Yeah, and then have strength also to, incapacitate her and create the injuries that were described. You know, I will say this though, like, I'm not sure, how much cleaning can be done here. It doesn't look like there's any evidence of blood being anywhere here. Do you find that odd, Big Blue, that there isn't still evidence of that? And does that kind of make you think that the story that Michael was saying it maybe not be as accurate as we think?
I mean, there's a road right on top. They probably can just bring a truck and rinse off the area and just decontaminate it. They wouldn't do a deep cleaning because it's dirt and a creek.
Yeah, and it's in the sewer tunnels.
Yeah, those are those are more like drain control. That way it doesn't flood. Let the water through into the little creeks.
Right, but it's not a sanitary type of thing.
Yeah, it wouldn't have to be sanitary. They just have to at least get the blood off. That way, people wouldn't be going over there and taking photos of it and posting them online and doing dumb stuff.
And I'm not saying that this isn't a crime scene. What I'm saying is the cleanliness, or I don't want to say cleanliness, but the fact that there's the lack of visually seeing evidence of blood. Does that maybe take a little bit of credibility to what we've heard from the father, the person who is alleged to have found the bodies?
I'm not sure. Maybe I think it gives him a little bit of credibility. But the other thing is, like, if he was with them, right, and he said the way I read it is he went down one tunnel and they went down the other,
Mhm.
and he didn't see the body. I mean, the entrance is like right there, so they could have. I'm pretty sure he took a glance, to see what the hell happened. But
Let me see. I got your email. I don't see anything about you being blocked, but I'll look into that. Let me see. Oh yeah. See, and this is what that and so what she had sent me was
It's a dramatic first.
the accounts of what that Michael guy said that that JLR was talking to earlier on in the video, and the gruesome details that he had stated, and that's why I'm kind of questioning that a little bit, because I think there was a fatality accident that occurred near my house not too long ago, and for days you could see the reminiscence of the accident.
oh yeah,
You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
And
The
so,
paint marks, or they painted the body, or they
well, not just that. I mean, you could see where
all the
some
blood
of
and
yeah.
yeah.
And so, I'm not saying that maybe perhaps he's lying or any of those things, but maybe this story isn't as accurate as what
Well,
really happened. And maybe that's why law enforcement is saying not to believe him, because it's off. You know what I'm saying?
that, or sorry, my dog was barking. It's still barking. He did say that it did rain. It did rain. They had a tornado go through there.
That's true.
The water would rush right through there, and it would clean a lot of that blood out of the way.
Yeah, I can see that. And so that's true. That's true. That would happen. All right. That's why we have these conversations, right? So we can bounce ideas off each other.
Yeah, I mean, I like to read, and then the weird stuff stays in my head.
All right, so he's actually going to walk in there.
I'll walk through the other side.
So would you assume, Big Blue, that the that tunnel is going downward? The angle of that tunnel is flowing outward?
It seems like it's flowing the other way, yeah.
Or is it flowing towards JLR?
I mean, it's hard to tell because he's not really looking at it. I can't see the ripples that well. I mean, it looks like they're rippling a little bit this way, a little bit, but
all right, let's try to figure that out while we watch him walk through here. Which way is that water going? See, that looks almost elevated, and that looks lower.
Either or. She was found in a tunnel.
yeah.
What's on the other side here? Did the killer come through the tunnel?
Thank you, Gail, for your $10 super chat. We appreciate you.
Killer come through this way.
It does get deeper on the other side. That leads me to believe that the water is flowing in the direction that he's walking.
Yeah.
If that's the case, wouldn't blood also flow in that direction?
I mean, At a certain point, it might be level, and then at a certain point, it might be facing the other way. It depends on the ground shifting. Those things are metal, so they can bend a little bit. You know.
Hard for me to go through.
Yeah, it's definitely going towards
Now I'm
this
gonna try to go through
opening.
the other one.
Yeah, it's deeper.
Salty. I don't trust that water. What's on the other side there? We'll go through the other side.
Because she said that she sat. Let's back this up just a second. So she, according to what we know, apparently she had seen the looked into the tunnel, saw what she had seen, and then went and sat down on a rock, and then realized she was sitting in a puddle. Now, if the rock puddle in the blood is outside of the tunnel, and she's inside of the tunnel, does that mean that the initial attack was there outside of the tunnel, and then she was moved inside of the tunnel?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
By the flow of the water, it would have flown the other way. But it's hard. I think the attack party was out there because then they saw the rock out there too. That had blood on it, right?
Yeah, they say they found a rock with blood on it, and that her face was disfigured.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking may have occurred. Was it the she got to this point? I don't think that she went into the tunnel. I think he and I'm saying he just thinking that it's possibly a male, could be a female, could be a jealous person. It's unfortunate.
But we gotta give it to JR, man. JLR, he does some good videos.
Yeah, no, this is his firsthand view of the area. I mean, without being there, we could have assumed that. I mean, obviously we're still not there, but without having seen the scene this close, like, we could have assumed that the blood that the person that found the body sat in, that was pulled in from the body from where it sat, not from where the attack took place initially, right? Seeing this area and seeing the floor and the ground really does help give a better perspective.
Yeah.
And she was only. Oh, go ahead, Blue.
In my head, I was thinking smaller, like coverts, like the concrete ones, the ones that you can barely step into. You know what I mean? That's what I thought she was in.
Yeah, 100%. And what could happen as far as like the 10 to 15 foot blood trail is, let's just say the attack is right here. Boom, he hits her, the initial attack. He lifts her up, and as he's carrying her to the tunnel, she could be actively bleeding, leaving that trail, right? The blood pool is from the initial attack. Now, this was a day later. It is in water. There is slight water. Blue, would it still be in a liquid form?
The blood, it'd probably be like coagulated, like sticky, like it depends on how much the puddle is. It gets like it turns like a darkish, blackish, reddish, and it gets thick and then it dries and then it flakes.
Right.
But like once you add water to it, it just like it comes off, like it turns, like it melts kind of.
See, we go down here a little bit.
He doesn't sound too excited to go down this. I wouldn't.
This is a more of an active one. It looks like I won't be able to get down there either, but we'll try.
Yeah, I would take if I was there, I would take a pair of mug boots and walk.
Yeah,
So sad.
that's what he says. He's not prepared for the right equipment.
Yeah.
I wouldn't walk in that water
It looks
either.
like on
Man.
both of them at this point, it gets really, really deep down here, right at the back of the tunnels here. So I'm not so sure if a person, though, person desperate getting away, they'll swim through anything. But I'm going to show you.
That is true, but like, say she was trying to climb to get away, I think she would have climbed up to the road because the road's right on top.
No, I think he's referring to the suspect.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say
like to get away from the scene. Like,
yeah,
commit the crime there and then walk out this way. If he did that, right, and he had, and I'm assuming it's a he again. If that was the plan and the person left this direction and left home or whatever, does that indicate premeditation to you that the plan going to the trail was to commit this crime?
if it still could be a crime opportunity because he used the rock. You know what I mean, if it was premeditation, you would think they would have brought a weapon.
Well, they may have, but they probably were aware that gunshot may have startled some individuals.
But yet again, like, the thing that throws me off is like, okay, if it was somebody that was planning on doing this, why leave her somewhere where they can be found off the trail that she was last supposedly going to go to? Why, if you're planning this, you wouldn't leave her that close because then it'd be easier for the detective to start tracking everything. The other thing is, why, if it was I'm pretty sure this was somebody sick, man, because they left her nude. Why waste that time? So they did something before.
Well, it could be, it could be somebody who's very upset, like an ex, like a jealous ex, that is like, all right, you want to show your body off to other people or be in a relationship with someone else, and in a form of degradation, remove the clothes.
I could have, but you would have left. If it was trying to degrade somebody, you would have left them somebody where they would be seen by multiple people and be found right away and not try to hide them.
Maybe. I mean, it's possible.
But I don't know. Excuse me. This I got to get to work, guys. But I do want to say we do. This is just all speculation.
Yes, 100%.
It's a sad story. There's 5 children who are now without their mother. Our thoughts and prayers go out to them. Hopefully they find the person that did this. Hopefully they were not as smart and they left some trails for the police to be able to find them soon.
Yeah, 100%, my man. And I want to thank you. I'm going to continue to go on just for a few more minutes on this case. There's not much left to go over for this intro part. We're going to continue with this investigation, until they find somebody, and we're not going to let this case rest. Thank you, Big Blue. I'm going to continue on. I appreciate you being on.
Yeah, have a good night. Take care, guys.
Thank you, Blue. And so let's continue with this. So this is the area or some of the information that I had received, not the exact information, but some of the information I received in the email. And it says here that Grebzeski, who was the individual that JLR had interviewed earlier, had told local news outlets that he had a feeling about the tunnels after Morin was reported missing on Saturday night. He added that he was glad to bring her home so she can find a final resting place, and for her family, that the door can finally be closed and they can get to the investigation, get on to the investigation, and hopefully catch the person that did this. This is again Richard Tobin, boyfriend of Rachel, and they had just gotten into a relationship within like a week of her, going missing. Now, the only thing that I can think of, as far as why this person, they just got into a relationship, right? This is like the honeymoon phase of the relationship. It's odd that crime would be committed this quickly, unless maybe he found those dating sites that she was apparently on, and that upset him. That's possible, but I don't know. He's been very cooperative. I'm not sure yet on this guy. I don't think he's been cleared per se, but they haven't named him as a suspect either. Yeah, he was younger than her. Yeah, he's 27 years old. He recently wrote, "I love Rachel. I would never do anything to her. Let the family and I grieve. Yes, I have a past, but I also have 15 months clean and have changed as a person. Please." The 27 wrote in a recent Facebook update. And so this is actually the article referencing this guy. Now, apparently, she did have 3 baby dads that she was going through court custody with. I'm not sure if she was going through custody with all of them or 1 or 2 of them, but there was a custody dispute. Child support can be expensive. Is that a motive, financially, having to, go through court custody, child support, financially supporting this woman who's now probably dating somebody new, or is dating someone new? Is that a motive? Maybe. We'll see. I think the police definitely know a lot more than what they're telling us in this case. And the fact that this happened so soon to the relationship leads me to believe that the person that committed this crime may have been jealous of this relationship. Could it have been somebody who, like I told Blue earlier, that was on one of these dating websites that maybe had a conversation or followed Rachel and became infatuated and couldn't handle the fact that she found somebody else? I think that's very plausible. And I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being the situation. He does have a bad track record. That is true. That is true. Let's see. Maybe someone who bought her looks. That's possible too. The fact that they left her without clothing, I don't know if there's a sign of sexual assault, but if there's not, and they left her without clothing, could be a degradation type of thing. And I can see that being an angle and a possibility. But there's only a few options here, in my opinion. And I think that the scene is going to tell you some of those things. Like, for instance, was there, um, signs of the body being dragged significant amount of feet? Were there any reports of screams or gunshots or things of that nature from the area? The scene is going to say a lot. How personal was this attack? Was there any defensive wounds? Things like that. And so, we may not know those things, but police definitely do. And that's going to kind of give them a direction in which way to investigate. 100% a sign of humiliation. I agree 100%. She wasn't essayed, but I do believe she was posed and stripped to be humiliated. That's quite possible. And if that's the case, then I believe that is somebody that at least at the surface is aware of her, right? Whether it's online or all the way to, somebody that may have went on a date with her, or someone who was either in a prior relationship or current relationship with her, who was upset with some of the actions. I mean, the new boyfriend, yeah, a lot of these reports indicate that she was active on these dating websites, even though she was in this relationship. Is it possible the new boyfriend found out that she was talking to other men still? Those things happen. And, majority of the time it doesn't lead to a crime like this. But, this guy does have a history. Is that possible? I think it is, but, I don't want to speculate into that yet, because in my opinion, if it were the case, right, let's just say that it was the current boyfriend. For the current boyfriend to do something like this, it's typically a crime out of passion, out of the heat of the moment. It's not well planned. It's not well prepared or put together. And those are usually riddled with mistakes and clues, enough to the point where I think that they would have arrested him by now. The fact that they hadn't doesn't necessarily mean it was a calculated or very planned or well planned out type of situation, but it could be a person not so close to the victim, a little bit further out. But we'll see. But we are getting close. Well, we're after actually the hour and a half. I want to say thank you to everybody. We're going to be shutting it down. If you guys haven't checked out a scale of 1 to 10, that is my other channel that me and the wifey are on. Go check that out. I believe the link is in the description. We have a new video where we tested out the what do you call it? I think it's a Kimade and the Japanese moochie. It's, in my opinion, I think it's pretty funny. I think you guys would like it. It is this video here, so go check that out. That's me and the wife. It's a scale of 1 to 10. Go give us a sub. We'd appreciate that if you guys would help us out to get us to 1,000 subscribers. We'll be back probably tomorrow. I think me, Blue, maybe Jaime are going to jump on just to kind of talk the wind, so to speak. And then we're going to be back on Friday night as well. After, I might go on twice. We might be live streaming or going right on after the Koberger hearing, and then we'll be talking about it more in depth in the afternoon. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell if you're not already have not already done so. That way you're notified of all of our lives, and whenever we do come out with content, you're aware of it. So with that being said, y'all, I'm Daniel. It's the Drunk Turkey Show. Hope you guys liked the new logo. We wanted to make it a little bit more personal, put us in there. Let me know in the comment section what you think about that, especially about Jaime's apparel and how he looks. He was very proud of this new logo just based on what he's wearing. Let me know in the comment section. With that being said, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.